we present My Word. A panel game devised by Tony Shryan and Edward J. Mason. And here to introduce the teams is Michael O'Donnell.
Thank you very much, and welcome to another sporting encounter between our teams of hand-picked sporting encounterers, Dilys, Powell and Frank Muir. And Antonia, Fraser and Denis Norden. We start, as usual, with an expedition into the remoter corners of the dictionary, in search, as always, of meaning. Frank, what's the meaning of Febrifuge? Febrifuge.
I've got a birthday coming up next year, which I don't particularly want to arrive at. And it's in February, so if I was a refugee from there... No, it's presumably from febrile, isn't it? Which means, I hardly need tell you, Doctor, means feverish. And Febrifuge is one of those things that, like aspirin and quinine and Dr. Collis Brown's chlorodyne, which is supposed to lower your temperature and make you feel better.
I will give you 2 marks for that. I thought you were going to ask for one for your birthday, but no, 2 marks for driving the fever away. Antonia, Jeremiad, Jeremiad.
Well, a Jeremiad is a long, long whinge, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the original long whinge by Jeremiah, who was the great whinger.
I once heard a doctor say that a patient of his had given him a Jeremiad of champagne, which I tried to work out what the patient was. Anyway, you get 2 marks, he got none. Dilys, what's the meaning of Cumshaw? Cumshaw.
I think that means backsheesh.
It is, yes.
Kind of tip.
A tip. Well done. A pourboire, a tip, or gratuity. Denis, what's the meaning of titubation? Titubation.
It's not another of your medical word, is it?
Well, not really. It could
something
be.
You get from a tight bra. Is it
I think that wins you a bonus
mark.
It
could be medical. That generally means it's something to do with something like psychiatry. In other words, something you don't really know.
No, I mean, medicine is to do with all life, really.
Oh, yeah.
It's to do with this behaviour. I'll give you a clue. The dictionary definition, the first line of it is the act of titubating.
Oh, that helps, yeah. I don't know, it sounds like it's a sort of a mixture of titillate and perturb. So it would be, if you're in a state where you are perturbed about being titillated, which is really the best way. That means guilt and steaminess, and it's the best kind of titillating. You're
I'm
gesturing.
titubating a bit in the background.
He's miming playing the oboe.
Shivering and jumping.
Shivering, jumping, quivering.
Exactly.
Being in a state.
Fidgetiness. It is. We'll give you the marks for that between you. You got it. Especially fidgeting caused by nervous irritation, it says here. Actually, the dictionary definition is rather nice because it was written quite a long time ago, and it says, to stagger, reel, totter, stumble, to rock and roll. Anyway, 2 marks to Denis. Now, before we go on to the next round, here are for Frank and Denis are the quotations you were given for the last round. And Frank's is Alice in Wonderland, and Denis is A Stitch in Time Saves 9. One of my mother's favourite sayings, it used to be. And meanwhile, a round from which our question setter, Peter Moore, describes rather jauntily as an assortment of sundries. Frank, what is the connection between a free pass to the theatre and the late Mrs. Phoebe Ann Butler?
In America, people who sell passes and tickets and various loose tickets are called scalpers. And Phoebe Ann Butler was bald. She was completely bald, and notoriously bald. They often had photographs in the papers saying, "This is Phoebe Butler, who is bald." So scalpers and the scalps were known as...
2 marks. Well done, Frank. 2 marks. Antonia, before we go on to Antonia, perhaps we ought to explain what the real meaning is there. We've given Frank the 2 marks. The real meaning is that a free pass in theatrical circles is known as an Annie Oakley.
Oh, that too, yes.
And Mrs. Butler's maiden name has been attached to that. Presumably, it says, because of the holes punched out of the ticket, which resemble those that she, as a markswoman, shot out of playing cards. And if you believe that... you believe anything. I think your explanation is much better.
But she went at her shooting bald-headed.
Antonia, were you to follow the advice given in Lady Goff's Book of Etiquette, published in the 1860s, how would you arrange the books on your bookshelves? It's difficult to... It's a sort of a prurient age, it was.
Well, I suppose would I novels?
No, it was not it's to do more with the authors of the books and the substance thereof.
Well, I suppose titled folk would come first,
right.
naturally. But that couldn't have been the answer.
It was to do with the mixing of the...
Oh, of course, yes. Now I know why Frank was making that funny face. I do this anyway in my own books, so I take it for granted. You mean that men and women were divided?
No.
Oh.
No. It was to do with marital status. It was that no book by a married male author was put next to one by an unmarried female author, nor one by an unmarried male author next to one by a married female author.
So you mean that my books, as I'm a married female author, would not be next to... Well, everybody here is married, so...
Jane Austen.
Yes, would it be next to Jane Austen?
Yes, well, Lady Goff obviously had something in mind at the time, but I think whatever it was rather nasty. We'll give you your mark anyway for struggling, Antonia.
Thank you.
Dilys, apart from being difficult to say, what is noteworthy about the following sentence? Jackdaws love my big Sphinx of quartz.
Jackdaws love
my big Sphinx of quartz.
Oh, of quartz. Q-U-A-R-Z. That's one of those things about all the letters of the alphabet or something. It isn't a quotation from anybody. It isn't a statement by some proud...
quartz owner.
Quartz owner. or sculptor. It's a statement which has, I should think, all the letters of the alphabet, perhaps some of them twice.
Say no more. You get your 2 marks. Next time you want to buy a typewriter, just rattle that off and you'll have tested everything.
Yes, naturally.
Well, 2 marks to Dilys. Denis, in Japanese it's Koki Koko. In Spanish it's Quiquiriqui. In Russian it's Kukuriku. What is it in English?
I'm not certain. Frank and I once wrote a whole program about onomatopoeic words, based on the thesis that foreigners have different words for sounds like bow wow and ding dong, and they're so different that foreigners don't just talk differently, they are built differently because they cannot, the noises that are actually made bear no resemblance to the sounds that foreigners give. And I forget which this quiquiriqui was. It's not the sound. I shouldn't think that even a foreigner would say quiquiriqui is the sound of church bells. Would you?
I cheated a bit by making... But no, I made it... I mean, I could make it more onomatopoeic.
Go on.
It could be, in Russia, it could be kukuriku.
It's calling for a taxi. Is it cuckoo? Yes. Cuckoo,
No. It's a more early morning than...
Oh, is it cock-a-doodle-doo? Is it that?
Yes, it is. Cock-a-doodle-doo. How did you guess? 2 marks to Denis. Now, a round entitled Who Is She? Where we go back to our friendly poets, each of whom writes about a lady. Can you identify the lady and name the poet? Frank, your 2 lines from the centre of a little work are, she whirled round and round till she sunk underground.
This is a fairly obscure poem, and it's about the whole point of the poem is this lady whirling dervish who crosses her legs one day before whirling and screws herself into the ground.
And she lived midway between where you and I live, as it happens.
Chertsey?
Yes.
Then the only notable poem that's come from Chertsey is the curfew, isn't it? The clappers.
There was an old lady.
I don't want that one.
Well, if you don't want it, you don't get any marks.
There was an old lady of Chertsey.
Yes.
Oh.
Have a go at the second
Would it
line.
be curtsy? Wouldn't
Yes.
It? And she did.
Who made a remarkable curtsy. She whirled round and round till she sunk underground, and it has a bathetic last line. Chertsey is repeated.
Oh, it's Lear then?
Yes,
That
it is.
silly old lady of Chertsey.
Yes. There was an old lady of Chertsey who made a remarkable curtsy. She whirled round and round till she sunk underground, which distressed all the people of Chertsey.
But the curfew must not ring tonight.
Anyway, we gave you a mark, didn't we, for Lear. Antonia. Her arms across her breast she lay. She was more fair than words can say.
Is it the Lady of Shalott?
No, but it's one of... she was related to the Lady of Shalott via the poet.
Ah, so it's Tennyson. And is it Maud? No.
No, nor the miller's daughter.
Or the Princess?
It's another lady. She's not...
Oh, La Belle Dame
No.
Sans it?
That's not Tennyson.
One
No,
praised
no, it
her
is.
ankles, one her eyes, one her dark hair and lovesome mien. In robe and crown the king stepped down to meet and greet her on her way.
Oh, is this
It is
beggar
no
maid?
wonder, said the lord, she is more beautiful than day.
The beggar maid.
Maid shall be my queen.
Yes.
Said King Cophetua.
Cophetua. You
No,
never forget that name
Yeah.
once you hear it.
Yes, did that cause you trouble at school?
Yes, King
Cophetua.
Cophetua.
Yeah, it is. The beggar maid. 2 marks, eventually. The beggar maid and Tennyson.
Awfully hard this week, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes. Well, we thought we'd tighten things up a little bit. We're running out of marks, you see. Dilys, for every time she shouted fire, they only answered, little liar.
It wasn't the one who said Billy in one of his nice new sashes fell in the fire and burnt to ashes.
No.
It wasn't G.K.
Belloc.
Belloc.
It's Belloc. You get a
Oh,
mark for
yeah.
Belloc. And therefore, when her aunt returned, and the house were burned.
Is it Matilda?
It is.
Yes.
It's Matilda who told lies and was burnt to death. Denis, she found me roots of relish sweet and honey wild and manna dew.
That sounds like one of that golden treasury mob, doesn't it?
It's the one I foolishly mentioned.
La Belle Dame, is it?
La Belle Dame.
The one who led me to her elfin grot.
That's right. My son brought that home from school and read it out to me. Have you seen this? He said, in our poetry book. My elfin grot. And the poet?
Keats.
Well done. 2 marks to Denis. Now, a round of double definitions. 1 word, 2 different meanings, and I'm going to give you the definitions of each meaning. Give me the word. Frank. 1 meaning is a regular custom. 2nd meaning, a monastic attire.
To cope with. Habit.
Habit. Well done. 2 marks to Frank. Antonia. A witcher's attendant. 1 meaning, closely acquainted with, is the other meaning.
A familiar.
Well done. 2 marks for Antonia. Dilys, a baby's comforter. and an imaginary card player. Who sits opposite the dealer?
No, you know.
Dummy.
Frank knows. And I will quote Frank. He says dummy.
And Frank is right. 2 marks. Denis, rounded Pebbles and a 20s hairstyle.
Is that a bobbed or shingled?
Well done. 2 marks to Denis. And now we come to the Frank and Denis's quotations. And Frank's is Alice in Wonderland.
I don't know who it is compiles those books of proverbs, English proverbs and things you look up. But I've got a new one for them, if you know anybody who does it. Just tell them to get on to me. You know, there's lovely, useful phrases that make life easier to live, such as never rest a warm baby on a cold slab. And always be kind to those people who are less fortunate than those who are more fortunate than the unfortunate people who are less fortunate than the fortunate ones who are more fortunate than they are. And I've got one which I really do think from experience would be very helpful in the future. And that is, if you're contemplating climbing up Mrs. Mumford and chewing the lobe of her ear, do ascertain what sort of earrings she's using, or you'll fall off Mrs. Mumford into the mashed potatoes. This could be very useful, because it actually happened, you see, in my household, this thing. But I'm running on ahead of myself, so I'll just dash forward and get myself back. It's really to do with our cats. I haven't discussed our animal position for some years now, and we have, in fact, a new, youngish kitten, an ex-chap, called Chinto, named after the highest mountain in Corsica. He's a very, very clever cat. He's an Abyssinian. He's called Chinto, but we in our family don't call the animals by their names, and we don't call ourselves by our names. Now, what one goes is for some personal characteristic. Now, typing is only one of Chinto's extraordinary characteristics. He has 2 more very strong ones. One is he roams. He's a terrific wanderer. Off he goes. So we called him, our wandering boy, the happy wanderer. There he comes, the happy wanderer. Look at him. And he disappears at night, and you have to go out at 1 o'clock in the morning with a flashlight. And there he is, stuffed down the toe of a Wellington, or behind the refrigerator. And this, sometimes we just take into calling him Wanda, although he's an ex-chap, as I said. We just call him Wanda. And one day, last week, on a Thursday it was, Mrs. Mumford came. She makes loose covers for the furniture. And she's frightfully good, and she comes and sort of measures it up and snip, snip, snip. And then 10 days later, you have this lovely great thing of yellow velvet or something, which fits like a glove. And I had to see her because John Amos wants a new suit. and he asked me whether Mrs. Mumford would oblige. So I invited her to lunch. Now, the other characteristic of Wanda the cat was that he runs up people and sucks their earlobe. Now, this is the most extraordinary thing, but apparently quite a lot of cats do it. It's a sign of affection or something. Anybody here from Abyssinia? Well, I just wondered whether sort of Abyssinian people run up you and chew your earlobe as a sign of affection. But our cat does, and our happy wanderer does, and he sort of puts his arms around your neck and chews away at your earlobe, making sort of noises, which isn't bad, you know, if you're unless he's attached to your earlobe. And then the noise is 1/4 of an inch away from your eardrum, and it's like a recording of a lion devouring its prey. It's a terrible noise. Anyway, the point is he ran up Mrs. Mumford at the lunch table. He ran up, fastened himself to her earlobe and started chewing. Mrs. Mumford had earrings on. And whereas my wife has those little flat gold things, Mrs. Mumford had rather large ones, which were little gold sort of needly things in a kind of sunburst. And the wandering boy took one chew of this, gave a cry of rage, a squeal, and fell off Mrs. Mumford into the mashed potatoes. Which is why I have formulated this proverb, which I hope will go into the Oxford Book of Proverbs, which is, if you're contemplating climbing up Mrs. Mumford and chewing her earlobe, do ascertain what sort of earrings she's wearing, or you'll end up in the mashed potatoes. And my friends, that just isn't a proverb, because the cat's never done it again. So it's more than a proverb. It's, as Lewis Carroll would have said, a lesson wonder learned.
Thank you very much, Big Bean. I couldn't see that one. Couldn't see that one coming. Now, Dennis, a stitch in time saves 9.
How that brings it all back. Paris in the 20s. And that glittering coterie of artists who used to foregather in the Brasserie Lippe, celebrated cafe belonging to Henri Lippe, the man who invented the stick that still bears his name to this day. Everybody would be there, not just Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Gertrude Stein and Picasso, but the lesser-known artists like Jean-Louis Perrier, the struggling sculptor who carved life-size statues of French naval heroes out of cheese, or Marcel Marceau, the alternative French mime artist, still recovering from the injuries he sustained while falling down an imaginary staircase. What did we talk about that winter, as I recall? The talk was all of Freud, which, as everybody knows, is the French word for cold. And because it was so bitterly Freud, everybody was telling their landlord that the show must go on. Show being the equally familiar French word for heat. But besides that, our talk would be of art and love, and about Georges Seurat, the founder of pointillist painting, and how he'd been abandoned by his Italian mistress with the heartless words, "Que sera, sera, sera." Or how Paris's largest collection of Impressionist painters was being acquired by a certain adorable demi-mondaine because, so the dealers whispered, she gives you amour for your money. But what joy it was to be alive then. Even half alive was good, because we sat round the zinc-top tables, zinc, as everybody knows, being French for 5, sipping small cups of coffee and discussing the great questions of the universe, like what do French restaurants do with frogs' arms? and we would occupy ourselves with such matters while sipping great steaming bowls of that savoury potato soup the French call vicious swash. But always the talk would return to us. Whose star was rising on the artistic horizon? Whose was setting? Would the next literary lion be the new convict playwright, Jump Bail Sartre, with his daring verse drama dedicated to 2 French sailors, Sailor V and Sailor Gare? Or would tomorrow's artistic frontiers be defined by the moody young Australian, Earl's Court Fitzgerald, a tormented youth who was unable to decide whether to be a writer or a painter? So he'd just written an 80,000-word novel on a canvas with a brush. And, of course, the other topic that occupied us foreigners was how to support ourselves in this exciting but unfeeling city. And nowhere was this more pitifully true than in the case of the young writer who was then known affectionately as our Gert. Later, of course, to become more widely known under her full name, Gertrude Stein, She was, of course, a distinguished poet who was to bitterly denounce the French policeman with her verse, "A rosa is a rosa is a rosa." But at that period of her career, she was having a very thin time, being obliged to support herself and her flatmate, the celebrated striptease dancer Alice B. Topless, by taking such precarious jobs as dog walking, door-to-door flagstaff selling, even a spell at the Folie Bergère, cutting the holes in their fishnet tights. But when even those humiliating positions had petered out, when she was really on what I'm sure her admirers won't mind me calling her uppers, suddenly came news that a post had been found for her as foreign correspondent for one of America's most prestigious news magazines. And that line which prompted this memoir brought that whole happy time back. Paris, the 20s, and the fortunate post on a news magazine that salvaged our Gert's sagging fortunes. How did it go again? Ah, yes. A niche in time saves Stein.
Thank you, Denis, for that memoir of an exciting age. And I see from the score sheet it's Antonia and Denis's turn to be over the moon, and Dilys and Frank's turn to be as sick as a budgerigar. And until our next programme, goodbye.
In My Word, Michael O'Donnell was in the chair. The questions were compiled by Peter Moore, and the programme was produced by Pete Atkin.
Thank you very much, and welcome to another bout of competitive philology between Dilys Powell and Frank Muir, and Anne Scott James and Denis Norden. And we start, as always, by heaving open our chained copy of the dictionary, blowing the dust from its pages, and asking, Frank, what's the meaning of symposium? S-Y-M-P-O-S-I-U-M.
Greek, sir. Greek word. Am I not right, Dill?
Quite right.
Right. Check me on the following, Dill, if I but sim is gathering together. Po, chamber. Sium means for the purposes of philosophical discussion and light refreshments.
2 marks. We cannot deny you 2 marks for that. Well done. Collection or convention of opinions, originally an ancient Greek postprandial drinking party, says the dictionary. Anyway, Anne, the meaning of salmagundi, S-A-L-M-A-G-U-N-D-I.
Oh, in a restaurant, when all the scrapings off everybody's plates are put into one large dish and served up as dish of the day, consisting of tomato sauce, onions, little bits of meat, etc., etc. The dish of the day is salmagundi.
Well, I think you get a mark and a half for that. In our house, that's called slumgullion, but it has a more specific meaning. Anybody know?
In ours, it's called gallimacha.
It's got to do with salmon or salami or
I think
something.
it's got specific. It has certain
Sausage, bits of sausage in.
certain ingredients. Oh, I'll give you the 2 marks because I think I'm being unfair.
High fibre? Is it high
Oh,
fibre?
it's got lots of fibre and it's got that pulses in it as well. It's meat, anchovies and eggs as well, but it's highly spiced. That's the important thing about it. Lots of condiments, oil and condiments. And
I said tomato sauce.
Right, we're giving you the marks anyway, Anne. Dilys, what's the meaning of sententious?
Sententious. It means speaking in rather grandiose, unnecessarily difficult language and in rather sort of tiresomely glorious style. like me.
Perfectly put. 2 perfect marks. Well done. In fact, his original meaning was quite flattering. I mean, it was full of meaning, intelligence and wisdom, but later became more an overabundance of those qualities. And you expressed it much better than the dictionary. Dennis, what's the meaning of nosology? N-O-S-O-L-O-G-Y.
N-O-S?
N-O-S-O-L-O-G-Y. Nosology.
I'm trying to remember who it was that said, talking about his adolescence and the poor showing he made at romance all through his adolescence. And he used the phrase, "I could never recognise token resistance," which something that must be familiar to a lot of us. And I would think just the study of a no, of the art, of the various kind of no's that you get, would be nosology.
I think that certainly wins 2 marks, because it's a nice inventive answer. Have you any idea of the real meaning?
No. I know there's something terribly scientific called the noosphere, but what it was...
Is it islands?
No.
That's 2
Is it
S's.
Japanese plague?
Yes.
Could be, couldn't it? But it isn't.
Oh.
No. And of course it's too much to hope there will be what people who do nose jobs have to study.
Disease?
Well, yes, come on.
The study of disease.
It's the classification of diseases. But Dennis has already got his 2 marks. But it's
He knows.
the official nomenclature of disease. All my patients had diseases that came under others, I discovered when I looked epidemic others we had in our locality. Before we go on to round 2, here, Frank and Dennis, are the quotations you were given for the last round. Frank's is of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. And that's Alice Through the Looking Glass, isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yours, Dennis, You and the Night and the Music. Signature tune of a radio programme, I can't remember which it was. Maybe it was called The Night and the Music.
There was one, yeah.
Anyway, those will come later. Meanwhile, a round entitled Something in Common. What do or did the following have in common? Frank, a series of hyphenated words or phrases. Out of battle, spirit of body, white card, and foot to ground.
Sort of formal, aren't they? Formal phrases. Are they translations?
Yes, they are.
Look at white card. What's the other one? Oh, carte blanche.
Yes, well done. Spirit of body.
Oh, esprit de corps.
Out of battle.
Hors de combat.
Well done.
And foot to ground.
Pied à terre.
Well done.
Very good.
2 marks to Frank. I remember getting into trouble at school when a boy called Allardyce told me that hors de combat meant camp followers, which he... And I spoke up and said it to Sir. Anne, what do the following have in common? Sir Simon de Canterville, Jacob Marley, the first, and also the second, Mrs. Condamine.
Well, the only one I've heard of is Jacob Marley.
Yes.
Wait a moment, let me write down. I'm getting behind.
Sir Simon de Canterville.
Well, I better start with the one I know about. Jacob Marley comes in A Christmas Carol, and he appears to Scrooge as a spirit. So either
Frank is
they're
giving
all
you a helpful
characters in
mind.
Dickens, or they're all ghosts.
Yeah, well done, yes.
Oh.
2 marks. Do you know where Sir Simon de Canterville...
You're going to tell me this, I hope.
Canterville
and you
Ghost,
know.
isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it the Canterville Ghost, the
Indeed,
Oscar Wilde
that's
story?
right. And Mrs. Condamine?
Condamine, I believe, is the lady in Blythe's Spirit.
Yeah, she's the name part of
Kay
Blythe's.
Hammond, yeah.
Kay
Yeah.
Hammond.
Yeah.
Yes. On stage and on film, Kay Hammond played it, didn't she? Oh no, somebody else. Constance Cummings did it on film.
Yeah.
But I always think of it as Kay Hammond. Well done. 2 marks, Anne. Dilys. What do the following people have in common? William Crichton, Enoch Arden, and Prospero.
William who?
Crichton.
Crichton.
An admirable fellow.
Admirable Crichton. Ah, the Admirable Crichton. He fetched up on a desert island. So did Prospero.
Yes.
And Enoch Arden vanished for a very long time and was shipwrecked. And when he came back, his dear girl had married somebody else, but he would never tell anybody. He just vanished again. Whether he was shipwrecked another time, I don't know. Yeah, they were all shipwrecked then.
Exactly. Precisely. Well done. 2 marks. All were shipwrecked. Dennis, what do the following people have in common? Gregson, Hill, Forbes, MacDonald, Lanner, Hopkins, Patterson, Athelney Jones, to name but a few.
Well, it's a very good front line there.
That's right. The 1946 Doncaster Road.
Over the moon about that, yep.
Got them all down, have you?
No, they're all terribly ordinary sounding. Athelney Jones strikes.
Yes, he's the
Isn't
only
he?
one who wouldn't
Yeah.
be a footballer.
But the point is, if you get one, if you only have to get one,
Yeah.
and if you're right, that's what all the others will be as well. Athelney Jones is Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? It's a character in Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, he is.
Sherlock Holmes' story. Who he was, I don't know, but the name went ting and up shot Sherlock Holmes in my mind.
Yes, well, you've got yourself a mark. They were all, actually, in Sherlock Holmes stories.
Were they clients? Were they all? I
No,
can't remember.
no.
those.
Try villains.
No.
No? Policemen? Were they all policemen?
Yes, yes. Would you care to give them a rank?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, he only dealt with the top people, didn't he? I mean, he didn't mess about with the sergeant plods. What are ranks? He'd be with the Sweeney or something, wouldn't he?
It's a
The
double
old bill, they're all members of the old...
Detective Constable.
1 up. I've got 2 up from Constable.
I don't know ranks.
Superintendent.
No, 1 below
Oh,
Superintendent.
for goodness
Really?
sake.
Jolly good at this. Is this
Detective.
because of being hauled out in the middle of the night to take drunks, Michael? Is it?
Police. No, wait a moment.
No, we've given you the marks, Dennis,
Yeah.
because you worked
I
so
don't know
hard.
what rank he is,
They were all detective inspectors.
Oh, detective
Involved
inspector
in
Anthony
cases with Sherlock Holmes. 2 marks. Well done.
Jones. Yeah.
Now, a quick round of verbal imports, words from foreign languages which have become adopted into English. I think these are rather difficult, so it's hard work again. Frank, what now English word was originally Chinese and meant bump head?
Tete-a-tete. Bangalore.
It's to do. They bumped heads presumably when they by Mantovani's version of Chow Mein. No, it's when they bowed very low, they bumped their heads. I think that's the origin. I think it's fiendishly difficult.
Well,
It's bowing low.
will you tell me the answer and I'll tell you whether you're right?
Why not? It's kowtow.
Right.
2 marks to Frank. Anne, this word was originally Persian and meant a hunting park.
Oh, I actually know that. Yes. You needn't even tell me. It's paradise.
Well done. 2 marks, Anne. Dilys, this word was originally Red Indian and meant a dwelling place.
Pyjamas.
Now, think of our old
The lady in the front row knows it. Maybe Frank.
Oh, well, it's not...
Somebody there foolishly said wigwam, which you can't.
That's what I was...
Well, it is wigwam.
Well done. 2 marks to Dilys. And a bonus to the lady in the front row. Dennis, this word was originally Japanese.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure that grabs you. And meant great prince.
Charlie. It wouldn't be. Well, then it's,
I think that deserves a mark. That deserves...
It's Datsun. Yeah. That's a nice print. They say no.
No, I don't think we can...
No, I don't know.
I would have thought it was an American... It's used largely in America. It's a sort of a big cheese entrepreneur of that sort of...
It is not... Vice President is not a Japanese...
no, but in a Japanese he would be called Tycoon.
Ah.
There we are. Anyway, let's move on to the last round and Frank's and Dennis's quotations. And Frank's quotation is, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings.
I think that a law should be passed fairly rapidly to ban from motor cars all those dangling appendages and bits and pieces and things on. Don't you? They're nodding. And also they're yawning. But it is true. It was brought home to me when my problem wasn't a happy problem, was to take Father Dunstan to the station at Reigate. I leapt into the car. No problem, Father. I'll get you there. It's but 40 minutes. And had that melancholy noise that really strikes like a little dagger of ice into the heart, where the motor goes... Well, you know the old saying, flat battery gets you nowhere. So what I did was I ignored the car, rushed across for my neighbour opposite, who's terribly nice, rather sportive man with a young family, and explained the predicament. And he said, take mine. It was a very, very dark night. There was no light at all, no moon above, no friendly star light me through the night. So I got Father into this car, which I'd never driven before, and off we drove, out of Thorpe, along Line Lane, over the motorways. And I suddenly saw it had one of those nodding dogs on the back shelf, which fascinates you if you know it's a strange car, and it was nodding away, and it had a purple tongue, and it was a chow. I nearly hit about 5 things on this little short road on the way to Chertsey Woking Road, and absolutely infuriated by it I was, and I drove on apologising to Father, and suddenly became sort of hypnotised by a thing dangling in front of me. And it was a thing dangling from the rear view mirror. And it was one of those shapes that people always have in front of them. Sometimes they're sort of Eskimo booties and things. And this was a kind of plastic owl with huge eyes. And I'd got just beyond Cobham, and we suddenly went into country, and I switched the headlights on, and 2 things happened immediately. The shape, the owl's eyes, lit up and blinded me, and the headlights fused. So I put the brakes on and sat there in the darkness, and Father Dunstan very kindly offered to get out and see what was wrong with the headlights. Will they come on again? And by the light of a street light, I saw him get out, walk in front of the car, and there was a tremendous bang. The whole car shook. And I saw the good man drop like a stone to the road. So I got out, leapt out. And you know, once heard of luggage racks, which is perfectly all right, you put your luggage on them. But this was a curious rack on top of this car with a sailing dinghy on it, which projected about 3 foot in front of it, and the poor man had bashed into this boat with a sailing boat on a rack on top of it. So I helped him back into the car and said, well, the only thing we can do is we'll have to reverse to Reigate. Because the reversing light came on if you reversed, and there'd be some light ahead of me. So I started to reverse, and round about Stoke Dabenham, the lanes are very narrow, and I had great difficulty reversing because I couldn't see through the rear window, because it was covered in car badges with I, Red Heart, Lowestoft, road safety first, and things. I could see the other thing, and I nearly hit twin pillars of some sort of house, and I put the brake on smartly, going in reverse, and moved forward, and then went backwards. But if you brake sharply when you're reversing, if you brake sharply when you're going forward, nothing much happens. But if you brake sharply when you're going backwards, everything falls off. And 40 cassettes. As I learnt later of a group called the Kinks, about whom my neighbour and his family were inordinately fond, clattered and swished to the floor, jammed under the brake, and we reversed upwards through this drive at increasing speed, with no way of stopping. And just as we were about to crash into this house, Father Dunstan, officer material there, calmly leant across and switched the ignition switch off. And we came to a halt 6 inches from the front door. And I realised where we were, but this uncanny silence spoken by It was the Yehudi Menuhin School of Music. Well, from there on, of course, our troubles were over, because there's a very kindly South Korean double bass player, a lady, kindly rushed Father to Reigate in her car, which had been adapted for a double bass, so he was comfortable. It was a hearse. And since that ghastly experience, I thought there really should be a law against these encumbrances in a car. I wouldn't forbid everything, but I'd make a list of things which shouldn't be included. For instance, and I'm sure Lewis Carroll would agree, of chows and shapes and sailing racks and car badges and kinks.
Thank you very much, Frank. Now, Denis, let's see how you get on with You and the Night and the Music.
A phrase I can never hear without remembering Beryl and her dancing chickens. Now, just in case some of you find that reference a little obscure, well, it goes back to a period soon after the war when Frank and I were just starting in this trade, and the little cafe where we always used to have lunch happened to be the meeting place for all the variety agents of that time, which not only gave us access to the kind of show business anecdotes that would have made Jackie Collins blush, but it also exposed us to the table talk of a variety agent called Harry Pink. Now, what distinguished Harry from the rest of his colleagues, apart from an electric blue mohair suit that habitually suffered from what you might call iron deficiency. What set him apart were the kind of acts that he represented, because they ranged from a ventriloquist who couldn't even think without moving his lips to a lady crooner of such total decrepitude. Frank and I always referred to her as the sweetheart of the spent forces. But what lent such an irresistible flavour to Harry's lunchtime conversation were the tales that he used to tell us about this little band of no-hopers, as for instance, the catastrophe that befell one of the jewels in his crown, a lady contortionist whose name he'd changed to Lucinda Joints, with the rather more questionable billing matter, Some Like It Bent. Apparently, one Friday second house at the Dewsbury Empire, she'd bent right over backwards, grasped the back of her ankles, and suddenly become locked in that position. They'd had to roll her to outpatients like a But the tale of calamity that best seemed to sum up that whole vanished world concerned, as I mentioned at the beginning, what's called a novelty act, known as Beryl and her dancing chickens. You see, Harry had managed to make a bit of a corner in performing animals ever since BBC Television had sought his help in casting 2,000 small fishes for a Jacques Cousteau spectacular. so he now had what might fairly be called a stable of them, consisting of such unhousehold names as Bullseye the Wonder Pigeon, Ahmed Mahmed, the world's only xylophone-playing snake charmer, plus a Welsh lady who was training an intelligent centipede to do an impression of the Tiller Girls. but the apple of Harry's eye was undoubtedly the Beryl's dancing chickens, 14 Buff Orpingtons and 8 Wyandottes, who executed a faltering counter march while Beryl played the St. Louis Blues on her piano accordion. You've got to go and see him. He kept urging us. It's absolute poultry emotion. Well, as it turned out, that there was one fleeting moment when we just might have got to see them, because by one of those stupendous cock-ups you only get in show business, Harry's favourite act somehow got invited to appear at the Albert Hall in an all-star gala concert in aid of the United Nations. Dame Myra Hess, the London Symphony Orchestra, Benno Moiseievich, the Amadeus String Quartet, and Beryl and her dancing. Well, of course, next day, somebody twigged the mistake, and before there's even time for the bills to be printed, Harry got a letter saying, extremely sorry, administrative error, deepest regrets, and so on and so forth. Now, nothing's ever defined that kind of show business for me like Harry's reaction to that news, because he refused to believe it. It's not my chickens they object to, he said to us next day when we met at lunchtime. It's got to be that tune they dance to. That's what it is. It's the St. Louis Blues. What I bet is they don't reckon it's highbrow enough for the United Nations. And, you know, Harry became so convinced that the decision to oust his faltering livestock had only been engineered so as to deprive the United Nations of the chance of hearing that ever-popular blues melody by the immortal Mr. W.C. Handy. He actually sat down and wrote a 2-page letter to the stage newspaper about it with a headline that emphasized his point, because it ran, UN denied handy music.
Thank you, Dennis, for another trip down memory lane. Well, I see from our giant electronic scoreboard that this week's winners are Dilys and Frank. So Anne and Dennis are left to savour the bittersweet taste of defeat until our next programme, and until then, goodbye. Thank you very much, and welcome to another bout of competitive wordplay between four of the nicest word players that I know, Dilys, Powell and Frank Muir. Versus Antonia, Fraser and Denis Norden. And we start, as always, by plunging recklessly into the dictionary in search of meaning. Frank, what's the meaning of fustigation? F-U-S-T-I-G-A-T-I-O-N.
Well, fustian is a cheap dark cloth, or it's a bombastic speech. So it's castigation. It's shouting a person down with loud and pompous language.
It's a very good invention, that. We'll give you 1.5. 1.5 for that. Now, the meaning
You're
is...
not suggesting that I'm incorrect,
I am hinting that you're incorrect. It is the act of whacking with a cudgel, fustigation. Antonia, what is a wraith? W-R-A-I-T-H, a wraith.
A wraith is a form of ghost, isn't it?
What form of ghost?
Is it the sort that knocks about graveyards?
It's its timing that tends to make it a wraith rather than an ordinary routine spectre or inspector.
Well, that gives me the hours of darkness to juggle with. Does it turn up at dawn?
I mean, most ghosts are ghosts of dead people.
Oh, you mean it's...
But a wraith can...
be a ghost of a sort of an evanescence of a living person.
Well done, that's 1 mark. That's a brilliant, intuitive move.
I want to tell you that there's something very strange and spectral just behind you.
I'll take 0.5 of a mark away for that, trying to terrify me. It can be both. It's a person's double or apparition seen shortly before or after their death. Dilys, what's the meaning of hubristic? H-U-B-R-I-S-T-I-C.
And I think it really means rather above yourself. It comes from the Greek, who were rather given to hubris, which was rather daring to challenge fate and the will of the gods. And if you were hubristic, if you were guilty of hubris, anything might happen to you. All your children might be struck dead, or you might have no head. Anything might happen to you if you had hubris and you were hubristic.
I think you get 3 marks for that. Denis, a graphospasm. G-R-A-P-H-O-S-P-A-S-M.
It's another rotten medical word, is it not?
Well, I didn't know it was until I looked it up today.
Maybe you were away when they did graphospasm.
More than likely.
It's a drawing of a hiccup in a medical textbook.
2 marks to Denis. And the real meaning is writer's cramp, which is much more mundane. Actually, you could have got a bonus mark if you'd called it scrivener's palsy, which I'm sure is what people on this programme get. We move on to announcing the quotations that Frank and Denis have been given for the last round. And Frank's is, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." And it's the opening of A Tale of Two Cities. And Denis's is Alice Through the Looking Glass, a book by Carol Levis. Now, meanwhile, we'll be coming to those later on. Meanwhile, a round entitled Four of a Kind. What do the following quartet of words have in common? And Frank sound rather like a West Country firm of solicitors. Quiblin, Whiblin, Quillet and Carrywitchet.
Quibbling.
Quiblin.
Yeah.
Stop your quibbling, Jock. Yeah. Quibbling.
Never mind the joke, could I just have the word?
Just giving you time to write in case you've got a touch of the cramp. Quillet.
Quillet.
And Carrywitchet.
A carwitchet. I've met as a play on words. Quibbling I've never met, but a quibble was used frequently throughout the 18th century and presumably earlier as a play on words. In fact, a pun.
You're there. 2 marks to Frank. He's got it. They're all ancient synonyms for a pun. Antonia, what do these 4 words have in common? To kirkle, to yaffle, to gobble, and to boom.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Yes, that's your booming.
Yes.
I can't get it.
What sort of thing gobbles?
Turkey.
Yes, and what sort of thing?
Yeah.
What sort of thing yaffles?
Sort of thing, yaffle.
Woody. There's a little woody fellow.
A pecker of that name.
Woodpecker yaffles.
Yes.
Kirkle, a very small noise. It must be. It must be more kirkle. Kirkle. I never heard them. Only eaten them.
Quail?
Yes.
Oh.
Well done. 2 marks. All are cries of birds: the quail, the woodpecker, the bittern, and the turkey.
Do quails kirkle?
Yes.
I wonder if kirkles quail.
Dilys, what do these 4 words have in common? Brunch, motel, chortle, and smog.
Chortle and what? Smog?
Smog, S-M-O-G. Brunch, motel.
The first one is brunch. Brunch is breakfast and lunch in one. It's 2 things in one.
Motel?
Motel is a motor in a hotel, is it?
Yes, indeed.
Is it?
We're nearly there, aren't we?
Oh, well.
Chortle.
Chortle is chuckle and... I don't know, anyhow, 2 words together.
Yes, it is 2 words together.
They're all 2 words together, aren't they?
That gets you the mark. Well done. Chortle is alleged to be a hybrid of chuckle and snort, but I think it's an original sound of its own, chortle. Denis, what do these 4 words have in common? Stableford, Culbertson, Bertillon, and Ashwell.
They're all proper names.
Yes.
Right? Next round. Bertillon, something to do with fingerprints.
That's right, yes.
So,
Culbertson?
Culbertson did something... Eli Culbertson, one of the few famous people called Eli, did something with bridge. It's a system of playing bridge.
And that gets you your 2 marks, because it's the system. It's the Bertillon system. Stableford system...
I never heard of a Stableford system, no.
You
Never heard of an Ashwell system.
No, well, the Ashwell I'll tell you about.
That's medical. The Ashwell is a medical system.
No, the Ashwell is rather exciting.
Okay.
But Stableford is golfing. It's a way of scoring in golf when you have a golf competition. But the Ashwell system, and this is the one I think the great discovery of our word setter Peter Moore, is a system of a ratchet and bolt operating on an engaged vacant window to show whether a lavatory is occupied or, as it says here, otherwise. Anyway, 2 marks to Denis for discovering they were all...
Came to me like a bolt from the Louvre.
Now a round of newspaper headlines, and I'm going to give you some incidents each, and we'd like to know how tabloid newspapers, if they'd been printed at the time, would have headlined these incidents. I'll give you each one to start with, and you can think about it, and then we'll come back to Frank for his. And Frank is... Sir Walter Raleigh spreads his cloak to spare Queen Elizabeth getting muddy feet. We want a tabloid headline for that. Antonia, an apple falling on Sir Isaac Newton's head prompts his discovery of gravitation. Dilys, King Canute fails to halt the incoming tide. And Denis, the young George Washington, admits to cutting down the cherry tree. So now what we want are newspaper headlines. If tabloid newspapers had been printed at the time, can you suggest the headline for the following historical happenings? And Frank, Sir Walter Raleigh spreads his cloak to spare Queen Elizabeth getting muddy feet.
Bright night keeps Queen clean in puddle muddle.
Very nice. And Antonia, an apple falling on Sir Isaac Newton's head prompts his discovery of gravitation.
Mad scientist in fruit drama.
Dilys, King Canute fails to halt the incoming tide.
Surging seas slap royal kisser.
Denis, the young George Washington admits to cutting down the cherry tree.
Axe-carrying youth spurns lie detector.
Well, you all did so well on that. We're going to give you 100 marks each for that. So now we move on to a round of double-barreled words, words like willy-nilly and hurly-burly. Almost repetitive, but not quite. Now, what such word can be defined in this way, Frank? Reckless or wild in conduct. We want a double-barreled word.
Hurly-burly.
Not quite.
Not quite.
You nearly.
That was in the clues, yeah.
Oh, was it? Vaguely familiar.
But I thought you were going to start. If you could, the flip, you were starting.
Was that good?
That's good. And if you, it rhymes with a rotten borough that used to be on Salisbury Plain.
Oh, old. Old Soham.
Yeah, so...
Harem Scoham.
Well done, 2 marks for Frank.
Why am I being demoted? I got 100 last round.
Antonia, a double-barrel word that means in disorderly haste.
Hugger-mugger.
Think of something that you might have seen in a fun fair and you'll get in disorderly haste.
Oh, that thing that goes...
She's doing the action now, everybody
Yes.
at home. The finger is going round in circles and moving up and down.
Hurly-burly. What is it?
It's not a welter.
No.
It's
Helter-skelter.
2 marks to Antonia.
2 marks for the audience.
And a bonus mark to the lady in the second row. Dilys, weak or ineffectual?
Namby-pamby.
No. Good guess.
That's me.
It's not.
Does mean
It's
weak,
not
doesn't
all. Yes, I don't think ineffectual. Weak, but not ineffectual.
Itsy bitsy.
Think of a Chinese laundryman. We'll get what you say.
Billy.
I can't think of anything else.
Starchy watchy. Oh, wishy-washy.
Say it louder, Dilys.
Wishy-washy.
2 marks. And a bonus mark to the person in the third row. Denis, feelings of depressive discomfort.
HJ.
The second part of it describes phonetically
Jeepers
the
creepers.
letters you put on the back of your car when you travel abroad.
GB. Oh, very good. Heebie-jeebies.
How did you get it? 2 marks. So now we come to the last round.
Understand that?
GB. You put GB on the back of your car, so heebie-jeebies. Oh. Yeah.
we've come to the last round, so we hope, Frank, you understand the quotation that you're going to tell us about, which is, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Now, you probably reckon that everybody read newspapers just after the Civil War, say in about 1673. But no. Newspapers started up, though. There's two newspapers started up in rural England, one in Oxfordshire, one pioneer newspaper in Oxfordshire, and one pioneer newspaper in Worcestershire, as it was then called. And the one in Oxfordshire was started up in Bicester. And it was started up by a retired pig farmer called Robert Maxwell. And Robert Maxwell started up a newspaper called the Bicester Times and Dairy Farmers' Almanac. But he had a bitter rival in Worcester. A newspaper was started up by a rich Australian ex-poultry farmer called Rupert Mudduck. And these rich men really were tremendous business rivals. Now, the trouble is with newspapers, they had no type in those days, so they were handwritten. And suddenly, Rupert invented a technological breakthrough known as the jellygraph. He found that if you get a tray of jelly and write with purple ink on it, you can put the paper, roll it down hard against the jelly, peel it off, and ink still stays on the paper. And you can do this about 40 times. So you've got 40 jellies. So he sold these printed jellies. And for a while was very successful. So immediately, Robert used this jelly process. With the jelly process, they were both printing 40 each and selling them. So circulation was the same. It was then Robert decided on competition. And he started up what he called Stingo. And the readers had to fill in little numbers. And if they won, they got a pint of Stingo, which was very strong beer. And then Rupert, in order to cap this, enlarged the prize. So they used to drink beer out of leather tankards called jacks in those days. And he made an enormous great vessel which held 40 gallons of Stingo, which he called the jackpot. And for a while he was ahead. But then Robert got a jackpot, you see. And their circulations rose by then to 173 each, but they were still level. And then Rupert brooded. And then he came up with an idea. Quibbles were very popular in those days. Everybody loved quibbles. And Rupert, there's dozens and dozens of books of them. So Rupert gathered all these books, made an enormous collection, and advertised that his top prize was going to be £1 million. The first time £1 million had ever been offered as a prize in a newspaper. So immediately Robert knew about this. So he too offered £1 million. Well, their circulation rose to about 2,000 copies each. And God knows what would have happened, except the whole thing was sabotaged by a group of people, lads, who were terribly worried about this mechanization of printing with jellygrass. And they decided on violence, and they crept in one night and just emptied all the jelly out and replaced it with clarified lard. And the chaps who did all this damage were known as lardites. Now, that's how all this newspaper competition started. So when people say to you now, oh, of course, these modern papers with these huge cash prizes, this is a new thing in journalism. You say, no, these new papers weren't the ones who started it. I'll tell you who were responsible for this. And you know, don't you, which papers really started all this. I have to use the modern pronunciation of the towns. But the paper's responsible for this. Well, it was the Bicester Times, and it was the Worcester Times.
Thank you for that moving account of the origin of edible news. Let's see how you get on, Denis, with Alice Through the Looking Glass.
And what a bittersweet memory that line evokes, because it's almost exactly what I wrote in my schoolboy diary to describe one of the most powerful and formative experiences of my entire childhood. Not that my childhood wasn't crammed with powerful and formative experiences. There was a time that Knocker Harris, the school bully, knocked me to the ground, sat on my chest, and licked all the red off my gobstopper. There was a junior school experience which probably led to my lifelong fear of heights, the time I played seesaw with Fatty Birkinshaw, and he kept me marooned for 40 minutes in the up position. And that's not to mention the event that must have been as searing to the young mind as any, that memorable prize-giving day when, suffering some kind of mental aberration, Wally Abingdon got up on the platform and bared his bottom to the whole school. Our boy doesn't forget a thing like that, especially as he was the headmaster. But influential as those happenings may have been in shaping my future character, none of them so deserves the description seminal as one sudden giddy moment during a biology class when I was about 13. Now, everybody was encouraged to do biology in those days because it was widely believed that when you left school there was no knowing when an employer might not suddenly ask you to dissect a frog. But truth to tell, it was a subject that I enjoyed about as much as the frog did. So, as it was one of those hot and rather drowsy mornings, summer mornings that we seemed to have so many of back then, I was off in one of my daydreams. Can't remember now which daydream it was. It was probably the usual one about having both the power of invisibility and the key to the Dagenham Girl Piper's dressing room. But whatever direction my thoughts were tending, they were abruptly wrenched back to reality, because I suddenly realized that across the crowded classroom, a girl called Alice Tozer was staring at me with a message in her gaze that could only be described as naked, unashamed yearning. Now, for you to appreciate the full effect that such a glance would have had on my boyish sensibilities, to understand just what a turn-up for the book it portended, you must have some idea of the place that Alice Tozer occupied in Form 4B folklore. Now, not only did she have a physical configuration which had matured to the extent where she could clean the chalk off the blackboard with both hands behind her back, but her tolerant attitudes towards certain matters had made her the only girl in the middle school with 4 exclamation marks next to her name on the wall of the boys' loo. So the fact that I was the one to whom she was, as it were, making an obscene telephone call with her eyes, me, who'd never expected to encounter any kind of encouraging glance from a girl, well, while it might be exaggerating to claim that that was the point at which I crossed the frontier from boyhood to manhood, just the same, it was a profound enough moment for me to record it that night in my schoolboy diary, not only in red ink, but ringed round with magenta starbursts. course, being me, I never actually went as far as what you might call cashing in on Alice's promissory note, partly, I suppose, because of that melancholy inability to recognise a sure thing that has always characterised your true wimp, but also, it should be said, because of something that only occurred to me while I was still thrashing about restlessly at 2 a.m. that night, and that was that where I'd been sitting when I became conscious of Alice's ravening gaze was directly in front of the windowsill on which she'd placed the satchel containing her lunchtime sandwiches. Now, to this day, I don't know which of us her thoughts were actually dwelling on, but something within me still treasures the interpretation that I confided to my diary that evening. Alice, fruity look in class.
Thank you, Denis, for yet another exploration of the happiest days of your life. Well, we've run all the answers through our new all-electric My Word computer, and this tells us that this week's winners are Dilys and Frank. So after the show, they'll have to buy the first round at the BBC soft drink dispenser. And until we all meet again, goodbye. Thank you very much, and welcome to another bout of what these days I suppose could be called competitive data retrieval between our teams of genuine non-electronic brains, Dilys Powell and Frank Muir, and Antonia, Fraser and Denis Norden. The first data bank we're going to inspect is, as usual, vocabulary. Frank, what's the meaning of caprification? C-A-P-R-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N.
The lady in the audience nodding. Caprification is what Gracie Fields underwent when she had to leave England.
2 marks for inventiveness. 2 marks. You've got 2 marks for invention.
For that.
You can get an extra mark for the meaning.
I don't want an extra mark. I'm not greedy.
I'm glad you're not. It's impossible to give you. Anybody know what it is on the?
Is it not? No copra. I think capri. No,
not to do with goats, is it?
No. I must tell you, because it's a very interesting process. It's the artificial ripening of figs by encouraging wild fig gall insects to puncture them. So you ripen the fig.
Well,
you must point out the lady who was nodding.
I thought in your Thameside rural community you'd be doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Antonia, the meaning of flocculent, F-L-O-C-C-U-L-E-N-T.
Well, it must be something to do with sheep and flocks and that sort of thing.
Well, it's to do, in a strange way, with sheep, but not with the flocks.
Well, wool, then, is it?
Yes, it is to do.
Wool, she said with more confidence. It's to do with wool.
Well, to do with wool, or give us an adjective.
Well, woolly as well.
Well done.
Say.
Two marks for woolly, because it is one of the definitions in the dictionary. But it's woolly or exhibiting tufts of wool, and is used in chemistry when liquids have sort of cloudy bits in them, like tufts of wool, I suppose. Anyway, 2 marks to Antonia. Dilys, the meaning of troglodyte, Troglodyte.
It means living underground or in a hole or something. Living in a cave.
Yes, there's 2 marks. Dennis, I think you ought to listen very carefully now, because your word, the thought of actually having to pronounce it has meant I've spent an abstemious 24 hours. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's... I'll start again. Floccinausi nihili pylification. And if you'd like to write it down, you'd better fill up your pen first.
Couldn't say it again a bit faster, could you? No.
Floccinausi nihili pylification.
Floccinausi.
I gave you the alternative pronunciation that time.
Yeah, I've actually seen it. It's in all books about what's called, I think it's called playful linguistics. This is always down as a word that is longer than anti-disestablishmentarianism, isn't it? And
I haven't measured them, actually, but it looks longer.
Nihili comes into it, and another part of the word, and it's something to do with trivialities and nothings and things which aren't really important. And
this programme?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The sort of...
Say no more.
Yes,
Say
all
no
right,
more.
yeah.
You'd get 2 marks. He got it. The dictionary says the action or habit of estimating as worthless. And it is actually made up of lots of Latin words, all signifying at little or at nothing. Well, before we go on to round 2, here, Frank and Dennis, are the quotations you were given for the last round. And Frank's is "Down Among the Sheltering Palms," which is sung by Al Jolson, I think. And Dennis, "Off We Go into the Wild Blue Yonder," which used to finish nearly every film I saw at the Gaumont Doncaster in the 1940s, as the American Army or American Air Force did exactly that. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. But we'll come to those later. First, a round of Victoriana. In fact, a round of Victorian vernacular. Who or what in Victorian times was vulgarly known as follows? Frank, a choker, a spouter, a cushion thumper, or an earwig?
They all mean the same thing.
They all mean the same thing, and they were...
The spouter was a talker. There were spouting clubs of people who stood up and debated. And a cushion thumper was a preacher, because they always used to preach leaning on a cushion. As they thumped it, clouds of dust traditionally arose. So presumably they're all, if they're all speakers and one of them is a preacher, they're all preachers.
Yes, all parsons. 2 marks to Frank. Antonia, a canary, a goldfinch, a yellow boy, or a thick un? Or as we say in Weybridge, a thick un.
Thick un. Is it something like a sovereign? Something?
It's something so like a sovereign, it is a sovereign, and you win 2 marks. Well done. Dilys, Kisky, Kisky, Coxy Loxy, Stiffo, or all mops and brooms. Victorian vernacular for what?
Tipsy Whipsy, I should think.
I think that's much better. 2 marks to Dilys.
High or dry.
But our word setter, Peter Moore, rather, I thought, in Victorian style, puts an inebriate. But why all mops and brooms, Dennis, Frank? What's that, the rhyming slang?
I don't even know. Why Kiski?
All mops and brooms probably means in a cupboard. They're all over the place.
Yes. Dennis, your lot of Victorian vernacular. A bell rope, a bow catcher, B-E-A-U catcher, as opposed to a Frank Muir collar catcher, and a cobbler's knot.
Is it ways of tying your shoe, of tying your shoelaces?
Bell rope, a bow catcher.
I tell you what, it could be forms of birth control.
That's 2 marks for invention again. The bonus mark now for the actual meaning.
Bell rope.
I was thinking some form of hat.
Antonia's doing a very useful mime.
Hat, she was doing the mime of.
Yes, well, she was a bit
hands
high.
On top of her head.
Yes, it'd come down from the hat a bit. She's come down from the hat and she's
To
actually...
curls, hair.
You're getting very close to it. It's a type of...
Wig?
No.
Wig, what? You have to comb your hair afterwards.
Must be
a moustache.
I think I'm going to have to tell you. We'll give you your 2 marks for invention, but the real answer is a type of hairdo.
Oh.
Hairdo is not particularly Victorian. Anyway, 2 marks to Dennis.
It's lovely to go in and say, could I have a shampoo and a bell rope?
Yes, you want to watch it in some quarters. Next, a round of verbal transplants, words of one language which have become adopted into another in a slightly mangled form. Now, Frank, the French word for a fanlight over a door is, well, it's V-A-S-I-S-T-A-S. It's said to result from a visit by German tourists to France in the 19th century. So, can you account for why this got...
Was ist das? Was ist das?
Exactly, you got there. That's why I didn't pronounce it in the first place. 2 marks to Frank.
Have you got bistro in the round?
No, we haven't got bistro.
Because bistro was Russian. For they say quick, when the Russians were in Paris.
Bistro.
So they called quick food places bistro.
As
bonus mark, I would have thought.
Yes, I think we give you a bonus mark. So, yes, perhaps we ought to explain that it was the fanlights were a novelty to the Germans when they visited. Why they should be, but anyway, they were, so they gave them their name. Antonia, it has been suggested that the Dutch phrase "ik niet weet," and notice the southern Holland pronunciation, meaning "I don't know," has abbreviated and transformed, become an English noun of a derogatory nature.
Well, your pronunciation was so perfect that it must have been nitwit.
Yes, it was. 2 marks to Attire. Dilys, the French expression quelque chose, meaning something, particularly something trivial, has given rise to an English word synonymous in meaning. Oh. What is that word? And your friend...
Kickshaw.
Well done,
Kickshaw.
2 marks. Your friend was leaping to your assistance and you didn't need it. Dennis, the Russian word for a railway station, which is V-O-K-S-A-L, with your Russian accent, you'll get that right, derives from a visit by 19th century Russian railway engineers to an English railway station in South London.
Where presumably they saw a certain make of car. Would it be Vauxhall?
It is. The visit was to Vauxhall Station, whose layout so impressed the Russians that they took the word home with them, which, if anybody goes through Vauxhall Station in the mornings, knows was much more sensible than taking the station. Anyway, 2 marks all round.
could have been a
Really
straight swap with Waterloo, couldn't it, actually?
And, I mean, if our word setter, Peter Moore, hasn't been having us on, I think he deserves 2 marks.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
put
I
him in the
think so.
post too, Peter.
Marvellous round.
They're very clever round, and very clever people answer them. Now a quick round of assorted Americana. By what name are the following Americanisms more generally known on this side of the Atlantic?
Braces.
That's -1 to Frank. Good guess. But a realtor.
Oh, yeah.
R-E-A-L-T-O-R.
Well, estates in England are managed and bought and sold by estate agents, and it's called real estate in the States. And therefore they're called realtors or realtors.
You get your 2 marks. Antonia, what do Americans refer to when they refer to a transom? T-R-A-N-S-O-M.
Yes, the Vassis does.
The buzzes does.
My partner and friend has come to my aid, and he says it's a Vasistas.
I don't
Yes.
know, what do we
And
call
could you
it?
tell us what a vasistas is?
I will tell you what a transom is. It's the fanlight over the door.
2 marks to Antonia. And 2 marks to Antonia for vasistas, which is also, of course, a fanlight. Dilys, Americans refer to a vest when Frank would refer to his...
It's a waistcoat.
Waistcoat. Well done. 2 marks.
Yes,
2 marks. And Dennis, a very easy one for you for a change. Americans refer to a casket...
Coffin, yeah. must be awfully confusing for them, because I remember they used to advertise caskets of chocolate for Christmas.
Well, now we come to the last round and Frank and Dennis's quotations. And Frank's quotation is, "Down among the sheltering palm."
I'm really addressing myself to the millionaires amongst the listeners, of which there must be countless, if any. I mean, because I need some money. It isn't quite like that, because I'm going to give you a proposition, make you an offer which is irrefusable. I think, you see, because I think my wife and I are going to have the most enjoyable Christmas we've ever had. We're really looking forward for the first time to December the 25th this year, because our Christmas something's always gone wrong. I mean, I remember when we were first married, and my wife was in bed, laid up, and I volunteered to do the Christmas dinner, and I worked from a cookery book, you know, and I went and selected the turkey, where you've got to get the plump thighs and things, and the beady eye, and all went well until the stuffing. Now, what the cookery book didn't say was that the turkey should be dead. And the look of reproach on that bird's face will haunt me. Nothing's been quite satisfactory at home, and it's always been so... The heating usually breaks down. I mean, last year, where we were, it was cold enough to freeze the baubles off the Christmas tree. And we've had this wonderful invitation to spend Christmas in Australia. And a chap in the village, Ronnie Hayes, emigrated to Perth, in the Western District, Perth. And apparently it's 95 there, at 7 at the Christmas evening. And they have dinner there in bikinis, with turkey and everything, you know. And it's all it'll all be laid on for us. And I have all his pommy friends, a congregation of other English expatriates. It's a kind of heaven, you see, except for the price of the ticket. Because if you ever asked an airline for the price of a ticket, they charge like a wounded buffalo. So I need money, a lot of money, rather quickly. And I had this concept of advertising myself that I would be able to judge the sex of a person's child. Just send me £1 and a lock of hair, and I will tell you the sex of your baby. Money back if I'm wrong. So I reckoned that I'd get 50% of everything that was sent in, you see. But nobody sent anything in, and I put a postcard, beautifully written postcard, and I pinned it up in our village hall, but nobody responded. And the Darby and Joan go there every Monday. Then at night, this inspiration came to me. I know how I can do millionaires a lot of good, and I can get this money for our Christmas in the heat of birth. And that is, will you listen carefully, millionaires? And what you do is this. You present yourself at Broadcasting House at the busiest part of the morning, and you stand up there and you say very loudly, Frank Muir is a goat-faced old has-been, and it's time he was put out to grass. Now, hang on a minute. Now, a judge might think that's fair comment. What you have to say, stand up and shout, Frank Muir is a goat-faced old has-been, and I know he accepts money from a foreign power for spreading woe and despair through the Western world. Now, my solicitor will be present, and amidst the gasps from the people in the foyer of Broadcasting House, he will take written statements confirming what you said. He will then issue you with a High Court writ for slandering me for £2 million. Now, that will then go before a counsel, for counsel's opinion, who will say, it's an open and shut case, old boy. They always say that. But in this case, it'll be true. It'll then go to a judge, and we're given a hearing date. But just before the hearing date, you settle out of court for £1 million. You then pay me the £1 million free of tax. I then deduct my fare to Australia and pass the rest on to your children, who then get all your money entirely free from capital transport tax. For millionaires, please write in, just apply. I think it's a foolproof scheme, and as soon as I accept the first one and we get this thing through, your children will have your money and you don't have to go to Jersey and kill yourself on gin at 18p a bottle. The money will go straight to them free of tax. And my wife and I, 25th of December next, will be there in Perth, where we'll, as Al Johnson said, dine among the sweltering ponds.
Thank you, Frank, for that appeal that no millionaire can refuse. Denis, let's see how you get on with Off We Go into the Wild Blue Yonder.
Well, yeah, that's the line that I'll probably use as one of my chapter headings in a book of advice that I'm currently writing for parents entitled Travelling with Young Children on 5 Aspirins a Day. Based on my own experiences, especially along that stretch of the London to Brighton road, still known to our family as Tantrum Alley, the book is a serious attempt to provide all thinking adults forced to drive 2 or more small children any distance further than 10 miles with a serious alternative to opening the hatchback and dropping them on the grass verge. I begin with what can be the most significant influence in controlling the way children behave inside a car: seat belts. That's to say, as soon as they get in their seats, belt them. Should that, as it sometimes does, prove unavailing, the book then goes on to advise which of the many popular in-car children's diversions you should not allow them to go in for. Among the principal pastimes to be discouraged is the one entitled, Let's See Who Can Put the Suitcase Strap Most Times Round the Hamster Before It Turns Vicious. And that equally questionable backseat diversion, let's count how many veins appear on Daddy's neck every time we yell police car in his ear. But just in case you think the book is totally devoted to things not to do, let me mention some of the positive suggestions I make for keeping children happy on a long car journey. For instance, quite an instructive little game that helps teach them both natural history and maths is the one where all the kids stand with their heads sticking up through the sunshine roof and smiling, and after 10 minutes, the one with the most insects on his teeth wins. But by far, I think that by far the best way of keeping them quiet on a long journey is the use of what is still probably the most effective method of easing the traditionally troubled parent-child relationship, bribery. In car travel terms, that translates itself into a process of entering into a whole series of rather shameful little treaties, such as, for example, if both of you keep your mouths absolutely shut till we pass at least 3 more signposts, when we're back home, I'll let you turn the hose on Granny again. or when we stop for something to eat, I won't say a word if you blow your orange juice straw at the waitress. Which brings me to what is perhaps the most stressful aspect of travelling en famille, the one that starts about 200 yards from your front door with the question, why didn't you go before you left? And reaches its climax as you're skidding at 70 miles an hour round some unknown corner and pleading, if you'll just keep wriggling, there's bound to be one along here somewhere. What I'm referring to, of course, is the established fact that when a car driver has small children aboard, the words stop and go do not simply refer to traffic lights. But that problem, hitherto considered insoluble, will at last be provided with a solution with the publication of my book, because inside each copy will be a pull-out map showing the nationwide location of every public convenience, semi-public convenience, private convenience, and even large bush where a small child can make an emergency landing. Now do you see why I intend to use that line from that American song as a chapter heading? Because as soon as my book comes out, it will lend a whole new meaning to the phrase relief map. The reason being that in all sorts of hitherto unsuspected places up and down the land, parents will be leaping out of their cars, shouting joyously to the squirming little boys and girls they're dragging behind them, off we go into the child's loo yonder.
I can see your book being a real threat to Dr. Spock. Well, I can see from the score sheet that this week's winners are Dilys and Frank. So they have to make do with the plastic laurel leaves, while our lucky losers, Antonia and Denis, get generous helpings of our delicious humble pie. And until we all meet again, goodbye.